Kai, the little capybara, lived with his family by a sparkling riverbank. Kai wasn't like the other capybaras who enjoyed life's simple routines. No, Kai had a restless spirit and a head full of dreams. One afternoon, while Kai dozed near the water's edge, he awoke to the sound of a piercing whistle. A vibrant parrot with feathers that looked like painted sunlight fluttered down to a low branch nearby. The parrot tilted its head at Kai and asked, "Little capybara, have you ever been to Rainbow Falls?" Kai repeated, "Rainbow Falls? What's that?" The parrot puffed out its chest and began to explain. Rainbow Falls is a magical place where the water glows with every color you can imagine. Red, gold, green, blue. A true living rainbow. But, the parrot added with a wink, it's very far, and only those with brave hearts can find it. Something lit up inside Kai. He stood up tall, a rare sight for a squat little capybara, and declared, "I'll go. I want to see it with my own eyes." His family listened quietly as Kai explained his plan. At first, they weren't sure. The Amazon was vast and wild, full of dangers and mysteries. But when they saw the determination in Kai's bright eyes, his mother finally nodded. "All right, Kai, but remember, let the river be your guide and don't be afraid to ask for help." With his family's blessing, Kai took his first steps outside the safe haven of his valley and began his adventure. The river snaked through the jungle like a silver ribbon, and Kai stayed close to its edge as he walked. Soon, he came to a wide pond covered in giant lily pads, big enough to hop across. But as Kai prepared to make his first jump, he spotted sharp crocodile tails swishing silently below the water's surface. His fur bristled. "I can do this. I have to be brave," he whispered to himself. Carefully, Kai leapt from one lily pad to the next, his heart pounding with each jump. The crocodiles eyed him hungrily, but he was too quick, and soon Kai reached the other side, shaking but triumphant. Kai reached the other side, shaking but triumphant. Further along, Kai spotted ripples in the water. Suddenly, sleek pink dolphins burst into view, swirling and jumping in joyful arcs. "Where are you off to, little one?" one of them chirped, swimming up close to Kai. "To Rainbow Falls," Kai answered, his voice bubbling with excitement. The dolphins chuckled and began swimming in a playful circle. "You're on the right path," one of them said, "but the water grows stronger ahead. Watch your step." Grateful for their advice, Kai continued downriver, his little feet carrying him deeper into the mysteries of the rainforest. The jungle grew thicker, and Kai found himself surrounded by sky-high trees so dense he couldn't tell which way to go. He stopped, trying to decide, east or west, up or down. Then, above him, a voice called slow and wise. "Are you lost?" "I'm trying to find Rainbow Falls," Kai replied, his voice unsure. The iguana blinked slowly. "Head west, but beware. The giant sloth will test your patience." Kai squinted, puzzled, but he thanked the iguana and marched westward. Soon, he came across the sloth, a creature enormous and impossibly slow, hanging upside down from a low tree. The sloth blinked once, twice, and then, in the calmest voice imaginable, asked, "What brings you to this part of the forest?" Kai's tail wiggled with impatience, but he remembered his mother's advice. Never rush and never be afraid to ask for help. Taking a deep breath, he replied, "Rainbow Falls." The sloth swayed gently and murmured, Listen to the jungle. It has all the answers. Kai frowned. Listen. Then he closed his eyes and let the sounds of the rainforest wash over him. The rustling leaves, the bubbling river, the chirps of distant birds. His heart told him north, so he began walking once more. After days of winding paths, leaping obstacles, and meeting new friends, Kai finally reached Rainbow Falls. As soon as he stepped into the clearing, his jaw dropped. The waterfall poured like liquid glass, scattering into colorful mists that sparkled and danced in the sunlight. The air tasted of magic and freshness. Kai walked to the edge of the falls and sat quietly, letting the sight fill his soul with wonder. It's everything the parrot said it would be, Kai thought. But in that moment, Kai realized something else. The adventure itself had been the true magic. The courage to leap, the wisdom of the iguana, the playful guidance of the dolphins. That was the real gift. With a joyful heart, Kai turned away from the falls and began his journey home. When Kai returned to the valley, his family rushed to greet him. "Did you see Rainbow Falls?" his siblings asked eagerly. Kai smiled and nodded. "I did, but wait until you hear about the journey. Lily pads, dolphins, sloths." He shared story after story, painting vivid pictures of his travels. His family listened in awe. From that day forward, Kai was no longer just the youngest capybara. He was the bravest explorer in the valley, and he always remembered, every adventure, big or small, was the beginning of a great story waiting to be told.